Today is this very special day. We are launching the APAN business, mental hygiene and business development program because it's something that you've indicated to us that you would like us to help you with. And the objective of the program is to provide you with evidence-based exercises that are up to date and will help to foster better mental health in the workplace, support productivity, create more joy and better connectedness between the team, your team and yourself, or your family, or the people you're connecting, even if it's your clients. As part of the research in developing this program, we had the opportunity to connect and work collaboratively with some highly qualified experts in designing the program. And it is my pleasure today to introduce Katherine Giske, who was one of the people that we connected with. So welcome, Katherine. Today, I want to introduce her briefly, and that is that Katherine is a psychologist and she also has human resource manager background, but she's traveled in over 60 countries, and in her capacity in leadership development, she's helped transform organizations and businesses in achieving a greater productivity with their team and in establishing better connections. In her psychology side, she's also worked with medical doctors in the area of mental improvement and also emotional growth in people. So she's got an extensive amount of knowledge and experience. And today she's actually going to be talking about the power of establishing good habits, because it all starts with the habits that we develop. Now, so welcome, Kathy from Seattle. And we have 16 hours of difference. So basically you are Tuesday, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and we're midday Wednesday. So it's amazing what with technology, how we can connect, even though we are totally different timelines. So as we enter, oh, by the way, if you see some similarities, we are sisters and we are actually twins. So that's just coincidental. It's not relevant to the fact that I'm not biased. I have chosen Kathy's wisdom because of her extensive knowledge and experience that she has in this area. So before we dive in, I just want to say that I know you'll get a lot out of this program. Okay, so Kathy, why are habits powerful, and what way can we shape them? So
I think too that first of all, we don't realize how important that habits are. And we live in a time when the pandemic has interrupted our lives. And so many of us who've had certain routines or ways of doing things are now having to edit and change the way we do things. And so this is a time that can either be challenging or an opportunity to develop a new way of how we go about life and we go about work. And the key is that the choice is really ours. It's not our employers. It's not our family or friends that determine who we are. We can choose to create for ourselves a reality that works for us. And we can be creative. We can take initiative. We can look for ways to make the most of the times that we live in. And also to look at examples of other people and how they've done so well. Like we mentioned earlier, the centurions are people who've lived a long time, and they've had some very specific habits. They've lived long enough that they've had habits. I have this saying that says, when you're young, your youth carries you, but when you're older, your habits carry you.
Correct.
What that means is that when you're young, you can cheat, you can eat whatever you want, you can stay up late all night, and it won't affect you because you bounce back the next morning. But when you're older, it's the habits that you've developed that will carry you. So if you had good habits, you will age gracefully. If you had bad habits, you will start having more challenges in your older years. And so habits do change and affect our destiny, our character, our perspective on life. And we need to edit those every so often. We need to develop ways to say, are the things I'm doing working for me or against me? Is there a time, do I need to develop a new habit? Maybe what I've done before worked, but it doesn't work anymore. So I think we need reflection. We need time to edit who we are and look at it critically, but not in a judgmental way, but more in a proactive way. So we can either be reactive or proactive. We can be proactive by looking at our lives and saying, okay, what are some things I should be doing differently to help me through the day? So in other words, if you get up in the morning and you're dreading. I mean, there are a lot of people who are really going through a hard time right now, maybe afraid of their job, or maybe that things are not as easy as they used to be. So you have to set the tone for the day and begin your day with an intention that today's going to be a great day. You make that decision and then you go from there.
Okay, so why don't you go through some habits, examples of some habits that can support mental health, both from physiological, psychological point of view, even mental point of view. So just give us some examples of, you start the day. Okay, what are some good habits that we can start to implement that help to set the tone for the rest of the day and make us feel like we're in control of our life rather than just floating in and facing whatever hits us?
Well, in truth, I think I'm a disciplined person. Not everybody, some people are disciplined by nature, and more artistic people are more ad hoc, are more responsive. They tend to not be as structured. So you have to look at your personality and say what is working for you. For example, when we do wake up in the morning, we have to think about the first thought that comes through our mind, and that first thought needs to be one of gratitude. What am I grateful for? And just one thing. You don't have to go through a litany of ideas. Just what am I grateful for this morning? Think of, maybe you slept well, maybe you like the way your bed feels, maybe you're happy that you're in a happy marriage or whatever. Another thing that I do, I'm going to talk about myself because I'm I like to keep my home clean. So when I get up in the morning to get my cup of coffee, I don't want any dishes in the sink. I don't want things sitting around. I want to walk into a kitchen that welcomes me because it's clean. If you can you imagine going in a kitchen where you've got dirty dishes, last night's food sitting on the counter? That's not going to motivate you to start the day on a positive note. So little things like that can make a huge emotional difference to how you face it. Can you imagine going in a kitchen that's clean, that's empty, and you have your cup of coffee or whatever you're going to have, your tea, and you begin the day breathing and enjoying that moment instead of feeling like, oh, I've got to do the dishes. Oh, I left the food last night, So that creates an angst that we don't need. So those are things we have to edit. And it's true that some people are by nature more organized than others. So we have to find the balance that what works for each of us based on our personality.
I think you touched on a good point, and that is that having order in our lives does contribute to calmness. When things are orderly, clean, organized, we can breathe deeply and just relax and really and engage in a more healthy mental attitude. Whereas when there is disorganization and chaos, it is also mentally disruptive and contributes to unsettling us and not preparing us sufficiently. So I think it's being intentional about the little things that you can put in place that will help you feel better and have a level of calm in how you face the day. So you are intentional in what is important and the mental attitude that you are going to prepare to face the world as you move forward to your day.
Exactly. You create the atmosphere. You don't wait for the day to tell you how the day's going to be. You create that. You choose to make it a good day because you choose that. Another thing is taking deep breaths. Getting out and getting some fresh air is It sounds like a very simplistic thing, but it's huge because oxygen in the body helps with the brain. So getting fresh air and just taking a deep breath and just being quiet for a moment is a great way to start the day. So if you tend to sleep in, you may want to go to bed a little earlier. You might find the alarm clock to wake you up so you're not always anxious to get to work on time. Simple things that make a huge difference in the milieu of your environment, and the way that you begin the day is the way you end the day. So if you begin in a rushed kind of way, you're going to be carrying that energy into the rest of the day. So you create the energy that will allow you to face the day with joy, with expectation, with calmness. And if you're anxious, just stop, take a deep breath, and just relax for a moment. Those are practices that contribute to mental health, and nobody can tell you to do that. You have to decide if your body needs that. You have to edit your own emotional state. And when you're seeing you're not doing well, don't just keep pushing on or ignoring it or denying it. Pause and take ownership of what's going on and love yourself, and give yourself time to catch your breath and think of the things that will serve you so that you move forward. What are you grateful for? What do you have that you're grateful for? And yes, we've lost a lot of things in this day and age. A lot of things have changed, but we still have some things that we are grateful, and opportunities, new opportunities that we can take advantage of. So those are things I think that will help to edit the day and set it at the right tone. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that we know that neuroscience is telling us is the power of the neuroplasticity, where we don't have to be victims of our past or traumas of our past or habits or even things that we've inherited. We can actually rewire the brain to serve us better, and that gives the power back to us, but also gives the responsibility, because I think at the center of improving your life is about being responsible to yourself and to your community or whatever you're doing, because by elevating the well-being of who you are, you're going to be more productive, you're going to be more centered, you're going to be more focused, you'll be able to hear other people, interact more meaningfully, because you have established a framework of the brain that is receptive to connectedness. And there's a lot of information that we'll have in the course about that. But it's very exciting because it gives the power back to us, and it all comes back to responsibility. But you said something interesting about being disciplined, and I think that is something that often we are disciplined for other people, but not for ourselves. And it's important to get that balance right. So habits you mentioned, can you mention a few more habits that you implement for your own well-being?
Well, one thing is I'm very careful with the news. I do not spend a lot of time in front of the TV. That can be a very negative. The news today is so toxic. It's no longer reporting. It's a commentary. So whoever is the anchor for that show are giving their opinion about things instead of just giving facts. And that can be very distressing, and it can really disturb you when you're watching news that is negative. And there's so much of it out there. So I have edited. I don't watch TV anymore. I get my news through my phone, or my laptop, and I just edit wherever I get my information, and I choose what I listen to. So that contributes a lot. And there are a lot of people who, when they listen to the news, it creates angst and anxiety in them because the news is toxic. So that's one thing that I think is very important. I think journaling helps me to put a thought out there. The advantage of writing something or typing it out, getting it out of your brain and putting it out, allows you to edit it and to let it out. So the release of ideas, the release of emotions can allow you to be able to not carry them and bury them, but to let them go. I think there's some things there. Modeling of is the greatest determinant of human behavior. One of the things we've learned is if you are inspired by someone's example, read about them, study them. You don't have to know them personally, but there are people who inspire you. You know, some people love Queen Elizabeth. Why do they like Queen Elizabeth? Well, it's not that she's just a queen. It's her persona. It's how she works through life, how she does her role, and the calmness with which she does things can be inspiring. So we can do the same. We can learn from other people's examples and emulate their way of how, learn from them. So I find too, as a leader, that you can learn just as much from good examples as well as bad examples. And we've got a bit of both out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so learn from the good examples and also from the bad examples and say, well, that's something I won't do, whether it's, a critical attitude or a proud way of saying things, that you can be much more, you can be inspired by the model that you feel is right for you. Yeah.
Now, I've just come up with something, and that is that you're an advocate of us having joy in our life. And really, that's very much centric to us being content, but also enjoying our life. So in bringing joy into your life, what are some of the things that you do that help you?
Mm-hmm. I think symbolism, nature has a lot of symbolism. I have a bed of roses. My garden, I love roses. And one of the roses is called Lasting Love. And would you believe it? We're in the dead of winter. We got snow coming. And this one Lasting Love rose tree is producing roses. It's producing a rose in the midst of the winter. And I sat and pondered that, and I thought, that's lasting love. Lasting love is living up to her name. I have little
Good on her.
I have little bonsai. We've given them names, and they can speak to you. So there's ways you can. Nature's full of symbolism, and things around us are full of symbolism. So they can inspire us to see beyond the immediate into the meaning behind something.
Yes.
Little animals can be a lot of fun, and they can bring a lot of joy to your life. I can't have any animals right now because I travel too much, although not so much these days. But finding ways to, I like to cook, and I will, if it's a cold day, I'll bake something and just create a nice warm atmosphere in the house. I like classical music. I play music that inspires me, that calms me. Music can be very ethereal, but it also can be very, it creates the atmosphere in the place. So the type of music that inspires you, that takes you into that space that you want to be. So use music, I think, is a wonderful, find songs that speak to your soul, that feed your soul. And I have those, and I listen to those, and I have a classical
always. And the thing about music is, especially songs that can transport you to a happy moment in your life, and you can relive things through music. And that's why people that love music are addicted to music. It can take them to an experience or bring memories back. Yes.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine who she was dating a guy, and basically he didn't want to get married, and he just didn't want to continue the relationship. And anyway, so they broke up, and then she started dating someone else, and all of a sudden he decides, no, I want you. I'm in love with you. I want to marry you. Please come back. And she said, no, I'm going to think about this. So I was playing a song where she was the singer. It was Elvis Costello's girl. Diana Krall. And she sings this song that says, I cried like a river and you didn't shed a tear. So now you tell me you love me and I'm going to make you cry like a river before I'll take you back. So I was telling her about this song. I said, that describes what you went through. And she said, oh, I I love Diana Krall, and I love that song. I said, well, there you go. So we can use humor. It doesn't matter how tragic things are. There's always a reason we can laugh, and we can find humor, even, and not in inappropriate ways, of course. But I had a friend who, I mentor young people. I had a friend who basically said that she broke up with a boyfriend. She was upset, and then her dad got killed, and so she had all this grief going on. And so she came to me and wanted to talk, and she said, I really feel like I want to die. And I said, you know what? That's normal. That's what grief does. You feel like you want to die. But I said, you're not going to die. And I said, and besides, you can't die because you haven't yet met Byron. And she said, who's Byron? I said, oh, it's just a very special person in my life, and I want you to meet him. And all of a sudden she starts to laugh, and she's just, in a different space. So I think we have to use humor, and she actually left the house laughing and happy. And the next day she said, Kathy, I feel so much better. You gave me hope. You helped me see, beyond the immediate into other possibilities. So,
well, we definitely need hope, and we need to look for it, because it's there. It's just connecting with it. And it's interesting when we do the studies on brain chemistry, that there was the studies indicate that positive thinking allows us to grow neurons that allow us to see opportunities a lot quicker, whereas negative thoughts actually close us and restricts us from even seeing opportunities and identifying them. Have you ever been in a position where you feel down and people are throwing good things at you and they're not even connecting? And that's, the brain loves to be happy. The brain loves to be happy. And when it does, it grows neurons that serve you better, and that allows you to connect with things that are more inventive or creative or innovative or, joyful. So the thing is, as we understand how different elements of our life impact us, we can then position them around our lives to allow us to be protected and to flourish in a way that we stay strong, and we stay and we protect the quality of our life. And it's wonderful to know that we can be the masters of our destiny rather than looking externally for what is happening, because that's pretty disastrous. And there is no doubt that people that give up hope have missed the fact that they have the power to change their mindset. They're looking externally, and if things aren't lining up for them, they feel there's nothing to live for. So, so you've said, one of the things I want to ask you, what are some of the ways that we can change a bad habit? So if I identify, for example, I'm eating too much and I need to lose weight, what are some of the memory hooks? What are the things I can do to enjoy the transition and let go of things that's not working, and then understand the value and benefit of what I need to implement, and how can I stick to it?
I think when it comes to food, I think a lot has to do with training the taste buds to like the right kind of food. See, if I keep eating sugar, I'm going to become more addicted to sugar. But if I start eating more vegetables, and the kind of vegetables that I like, if you don't like broccoli, don't go there. Pick the vegetables that you do like. And I'm not saying potatoes all the time either. I'm talking about finding, making a salad with colorful vegetables and slowly training your taste buds. And I remember when I went off sugar for a long time, and then I tried to have sugar, it was like, ooh, this tastes terrible. And it's because my body got used to eating the healthier things. So I think having an awareness of, why do I want to lose weight? What's the reason? And you need to define that in your mind. Why is it that you want to lose weight? Is it because you want to wear different clothes? Is it because you want to feel better about yourself? But identify the why behind it, so that every time. The other thing is, put a note on the refrigerator that reminds you, that the refrigerator is closed after 7 o'clock at night. You don't go in there. So you have to develop boundaries of what you will. And the other thing is, if you're trying to lose weight or eat more healthy, don't go buying junk food and having it around, because that's not going to help you. You need to edit, try to create, if you're living in a family with people, make sure that everybody's in on the thing, and that you're not just the only lone ranger trying to get well, that everyone is routing for each other. And there's a sense of celebration that when you lose some weight and you start feeling better, that you celebrate that and you say, wow, I did this, I made that milestone. Maybe if it's just losing a pound, but it's still, you pick up something that weighs a pound and it weighs 5 pounds, weighs even more. So it's great to have, to announce to the people in your life that to support you in it. Awareness of the need of something is one thing, but having support, community is so important. Don't do this alone. Do it with others. Find buddies that are in the same place. It makes it so. It's like if you go for a walk and you go on your own, but if you go with a friend and you're having this interesting conversation, you can walk for miles and you don't even know it because you're having such a good time. So that's the thing. Find a joyful way to do it. And enjoy it in community with others, like-minded people. One of the things about centurions that have, one of the keys of people who live to be 100 or more is that there are many common denominators, but one of them is that they live in community, that they have friends, family. They don't live in isolation. Loneliness is a joy kill, and a killjoy, sorry. And it has the ability to make you feel that you want to give up. But when you're around other people who love you, it energizes you. And even if you're having a bad day, the energy of your loved ones helps to carry you and to move you forward. So that's the other thing is look at the friends and the people that you surround yourself with. And if you live in a family where not everybody is affirming, that's okay. Find other people that you can connect with who support you in that, positive people who inspire you, make you laugh, people that you can buddy up with and do things together. Those things are just very practical but important. And especially in our day and age when everything is locked down, we feel like we're in solitary confinement when in fact we have opportunities that we would still take advantage of.
Well, Kathy, I just want to thank you for your input. I know that we've had many discussions and we've reviewed things that we can formulate and put together so that we can develop some good tools for people. One of the topics, obviously, is how to establish good habits, because as we know, it's interesting. They used to say it takes 90 days to establish a good habit, but now they say it can take anything from 28 days to a full year. So it depends on how you reaffirm that habit, and when you're doing it, where you keep reminding yourself of the reward of that habit. And that's really very, very important. But thank you for sharing some of your words of wisdom and little nuggets. I'm sure people have been able to benefit from it. And in closing, do you have any closing remarks that you'd like to share with us?
Well, I think the simple thing I want to say, in our day and age, we need to simplify things. We need to modify. We need to, The Minimalist is a website that's really appealing to a lot of people. Get rid of the clutter in your life and bring it down to the common denominator. Each day is a gift. So each day, we only have that day. We can't do anything with what happened yesterday. It's gone. But today is a gift. And if we look at the gift as an opportunity to learn, to grow, to create, then what we do is we create a basis that will carry us forward, and good habits will carry us into that day and move us so that we can move forward and overcome the challenges that we live today.
It's so true. Despite what is happening in the world, the good and the bad, we still can charter our path in life and make the most of it. And I think it's a collective combination of different elements that are productive and come together to enrich our lives. Well, thank you for your time, and it's
Thank
been
you.
joy having you, Kathy, and all the very best, and Merry Christmas. I know it probably will snow in Seattle, and we've got heat here, but all the very best, and thank you for sharing your time with us. Thank you for joining us today. Solutions for Aesthetics is for your benefit, and there'll be more sessions similar to this in the future. So please subscribe to the button below and don't miss out. Thank you.